Welcome to
Very
the HEX
cool.
Late Show.
Very cool remix on the intro song, man.
Yeah, that's the actual song the way it's supposed to be. Because on the old intro, I had like cut it and mixed it in with a later part of the song. But that's the way it was supposed to be. And I just made it a bit shorter and got rid of man punching animals, which seems to trigger certain algorithms, because we're actually
anger the algo gods, the woke algo.
We are on the Discourse Syndicate tonight. So we're streaming
on
the Discord. We are on Discourse Syndicate. We're streaming on Discourse Syndicate and also on DeFi Down Under. So what's happening, crew? What's happening?
Bro,
so much has happened this week in crypto. So much. But I would say that probably the biggest news crypto-wise. Actually, before we even get to that, what were we talking about? We're talking about how Bluey and me have started another show.
Different shows on this channel now, on the DeFi channel.
Yeah. So we do the HEX Late Show on this channel, not every week, but like most weeks. And then Bluey and me and whoever wants to, come along, we're doing a show called Not HEX, because this is the HEX Late Show, right? But that show that we do is called Not HEX, because we're not supposed to talk about HEX, but we sort of sometimes compare whatever we are talking about to HEX. And that we had our first stream last week, and I have a different setup. Like this, I'm streaming from home here, but when I'm doing that stream, I'm streaming from a different location. So I've got a different setup, which is permanent. And I was just saying the tangent before we went live that at the moment, because my setup has changed, and every stream it changes slightly, I'm always like asking, like, is my mic working? My headphones, like, is this working? Is that working? But luckily everything's working. Tangent. It has been a big week in crypto. I think the biggest thing, like, for all of crypto this week was the SEC versus XRP. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah. I've been listening to a lot of different takes, and ultimately it's really, really, really good news. There are a few things where people are saying things which are accurate, in my opinion, that moderate the excitement a little bit. It's not perfect. Like, you know what I mean? There's parts of it that are. So, for example, they actually ruled that that XRP was sold as a security. So, but I don't give a shit about that. That's fine. Like, as in, it's kind of it's a win for crypto and Bitcoiners, I believe, because the parts that they got slammed on is fine for everyone else.
With the centralized stuff. Yeah.
So I think the most important thing, because there's so much we could say about this and different people's opinions and that sort of thing, but I think the most important thing is that the judge made the distinction between the actual mechanism of sale versus the actual asset itself. So the asset itself does not, so you don't just have something where you're like, this asset is a security. It's the mechanism by which it was sold that makes it a security. So just like the original Howey test shit, oranges aren't securities by definition. The way that those orange groves were sold in that form of that investment contract with all of those legs made that particular investment opportunity a security. So I think it's really good news. It's really good news for secondary sales. It particularly protects HEX and other Richard Hart things, because it means the way that Richard did structure that, even though he had to do that preemptively because we didn't have that firm guidance, he actually nailed it. That basically things that are it's the contract, it's the way that it was done. And so there were the whole reason that we had no VCs and we had no contracty kind of sales in HEX or anything Richard Hart related is a definite win in the context of this.
Yeah, I agree fully. I saw the way when I heard the news and I heard that the judge ruled in two ways. for XRP and sort of for the SEC.
Yep.
But the way I took it was that it was a real win for DeFi, because if you're just an individual interacting with code and just swapping stuff over, that's not a security.
Yep.
But if you're like an institution selling, so my take was that
it appears, because remember, this is only a summary judgment and it can get appealed. So so it's not over yet. But I agree that if we take this as an insight or some form of predictability of where this is going to go, and we assume that that's how it's going to go, then everything you just said is accurate. Huge win for DeFi.
And if that is the case, that it does go this way, I would say that it's actually probably not as bullish for XRP as one might think.
Yeah.
And the reason it may not be is because now they're gonna have to just dump their shit on the market anyway. Right? They're just gonna, like, they were selling that stuff to make money.
I agree.
They were selling it to make money.
I agree.
So they're now just gonna do it. Like, okay, let's say they can't do it unless they register as a security. Maybe they pay a fine, whatever. But if they want to not be a security, then they'll just have to sell it on the market, maybe themselves. And that ain't that bullish for, like, it's never, that sort of stuff is never bullish for a token or a coin. So I think we're absolutely in the right space.
The founders
with HEX
getting sued and like all of that shit. The fact that it's not over and all of that stuff. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great for XRP, which is great for me because I've never liked that coin because it's fake crypto. But
it's great. Yeah. It's great for DeFi. So it's like
massive.
It's funny. It's like it's the biggest winners are like. I would say that we win harder than the XRP army out of that judgment.
Yes.
Like, I honestly believe we win harder.
And I want to be clear that I don't want to make this sound, I don't want this to sound like it was kind of like 50-50 sort of thing. Even if you look at it overall, SEC took an L. SEC took a massive L.
Yeah.
So it's like, definitely don't take any of the stuff that 43 and I are saying here to make it sound like it was like some good, some bad, like in a roughly equal amount. SEC took a hard L. But yeah, it's more complicated than what people on crypto Twitter are making out.
Yeah, and I also think that the SEC sort of probably saw this coming, and that's probably why they put out, like, they started.
They just started suing the shit out of everyone, like, before they lost their teeth. We actually predicted that. You and I actually predicted that on a previous stream. We called that shit.
We did.
We said we said that in our opinion, that was likely, that was why they were rushing all that shit out, was because there was that high risk that they were about to lose their teeth.
Yep. So they've done that, and we're going to see what comes out of it. But I mean, how much taxpayer money are these guys wasting in like with lawyers? Like, just
painful, man. Painful.
Like, I mean, why?
And it's still ongoing, and it's still so much wasted money.
Yep, absolutely. So what else is happening I mean, we're going to get to, well, why don't we just talk about it now? Like the highest of stakes. I saw a tweet from Richard saying that there might be rumors that they're going to do an international release. Now,
and more cinemas in the States, international release, and it all depends on, basically, because the demand has been so high, it has got them revved up. They see this is how powerful this community is, and we're talking about something that's not even digital, right? This is real world shit now, because this is bums in seats in a real world business and getting them wet for the idea of doing an international release. It's like, man.
Moist.
I've got some big statements to say today, actually, by the way, about this kind of stuff.
I think that this is, like, I've said it before, I think that this movie is going to be a slow burn of an onboard for HEX for the next 4 years.
Yes, dude.
Like a slow burn. It's like it's just going to
constantly. RG3 came into one of my Twitter spaces, and I just, I was like, full transparency here. I'm not going to pull any punches or try and sugarcoat shit. I asked him the question about what my main concern is, that while the chart is wrecked, anyone that's going to the cinema, particularly now, also as a side, the way that HEX split up, so the EHEX chart looks particularly wrecked, right? And that's probably the one that people are going to go and see. Like noobs and no coiners and rookies that see that movie, they're going to go and look for it over on Ethereum, right? Because if it's even mentioned in the movie how it's structured, they would have said it's built on Ethereum, because back then it was. So they're going to see this chart that's wrecked. And I was like, RG3, what are your thoughts about people coming to see this movie and then going and looking at the chart and just seeing that it's totally fucking wrecked? And it appearing that the people in the movie that are saying that it's a scam, appearing that they're right, even though we all know that that's not the case, their perception is what matters, right? And not only did he alleviate my concerns with a very similar comment to what you're saying in terms of the longevity of this thing, that it's not just a one hit, like one shot. We have to have this movie go well,
like
otherwise
3 months. It's not like 3 months and it's over. It's going to be evergreen.
It's not like on the day that it comes out, if we can't convince people to buy the asset, then it's like they're never, then it's game over. Not only that, he actually managed to get me revved up even hot. Like I was just revved after we had discussed it, and he was basically saying the same thing as you. So please continue with that line of.
Well, I mean, look, shout out to RG3. There are few who can get you as excited about something as RG3. He has a way with words. He's got a way with, he can pump up a crowd, and I love hearing the guy talk. I love hearing the guy talk. I mean, they started this channel, Discourse Syndicate. Look, I think
true. Founders of the channel. He was basically saying that, this is not just this one shot only thing. That movie, we're going to have that movie under our belt and on the record of this. Is it a scam? Is it not a scam? Forever. So then as we go through these bull bear cycles, people are going to see that you do just get market changes in market conditions, and that should not be the thing that determines whether it's a scam or not. So it made me a lot less stressed about the price, like the price related to the timing of the movie being launched.
If the movie does well, and I heard Kinetics say this, and I actually heard the people who did all the filming. I don't know their names. I think one of them's called Patrick.
Patrick, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So those guys, they were talking about that. Like, if all of this does super, super well, they might do another one. Like, if it's really popular,
another movie
or something, I don't know. They'll do something else. They'll do a follow up, like later on.
GTFO.
If it did well.
GTFO.
So yeah. So let's see the first one first. Let's get the first one under our belt.
Yeah. Baby steps, bro. Baby steps. I've got friends that are like obviously increasingly getting excited about crypto and AI, and they come at me with these massive ideas, and I never want to be the person that is naysaying big thinking, but I'm like, slow down, baby steps. Like,
yeah. Dude, I'm going to shill that movie I think if people go, so hard, because I'm going to shill that movie.
Dude, we need to do
hard.
the Australian version. Bro. So you, me, Sammy. So the people that are normally on this show, Sammy as well, especially, Steakhouse, and also fucks like Buck and who else? And Mayo are all keen to run the different cities and make sure, dude, we have a Regal Theatre here in Perth, yo, and I don't know if it's the same owners. It could just be a coincidence, right? Look, it's a pretty common name, right? Like, so it could have absolutely no association with the one that's screened, but imagine if it's the same company, bro. We would just be like, yo, We're going to play it in your, we're here. We've got boots on the ground. Like, just send us the shit and we'll sort it out. Like,
I don't think we have one in Melbourne. I don't think we have one in Melbourne. I'd have to fly to Western Australia.
No.
Dude,
you'll just get a custom, like you'll get a boutique cinema to do it. You don't need to. We definitely want it in every major city in Australia. We don't want people to have to get on planes for this. Like,
yeah, at least one in, I would say, Melbourne, Sydney, Perth,
Brisbane.
Brisbane.
Fuck the ACT, bro. Fuck the ACT. We don't need ACT.
What about
I wouldn't
Adelaide?
Darwin. I'm not sure if we've got anyone in Darwin. If you guys know any hexagons in Darwin, hit us up. Tag us.
Why Darwin? No, Brisbane.
Because it's a capital.
We've only got one in. Is it?
It's a capital.
It is.
I think so. I think it is.
I don't know. Dude, we've only got like 7 states.
Fuck geography. Fuck geography. We don't need none of those subjects that are fucking memory based anymore. We've got AI for that shit. Fuck it. We focus on what's important. Hey, bro, big comment. I want to drop a big comment. I think one of the most important things that we need to focus on crypto starting immediately is, like, I know the privacy thing, we're going to cover that in a bit, but making sure that retail stays advantageous over institutions and governments. And we've got a lot of mechanisms to do that. And crypto, just by its very nature, does lend itself that way. The newest coins with the biggest potential for gains are always going to be the things that institutions and governments can't really participate in. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's just one mechanism, though. I want our focus as a community, like, as in, this is in an ideal world, if I could be the person that drives the intention and efforts of the entire crypto space, it would be the financial benefit and advantage of the community-based retail entity over the institutions that are absolutely coming in now, right? So that's definitely happening. But anything that we can do to structure it so that we basically, so any sort of game theory or anything that can ensure that we maintain the advantage that we have had to date I think is critical. And we can run rings around them, bro, that they're in our house now. Like, they have to come and play by our rules. And we have this unforgiving structure where it's like, oh, wait, you don't like the way we do shit? Fuck off. You don't get to make the rules here. So, you know what I mean? And more they're realizing that they have to play our game. So we just keep the rules stacked hard in the favor of the retail investor, and we win together.
Can you imagine when I say when, because I think it is going to be when.
Exactly.
When people start settling the sale of houses in crypto. So the money doesn't even hit the bank.
That has happened. So, yeah. Oh, good. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the money doesn't even hit the bank.
Stamp duty, though. So stamp duty you can't avoid. Like, if the house changes hands,
you can't avoid. You still have the obligations. You still have.
Yes, you can avoid the bank
obligations, but
you know, houses have sold. Houses and expensive cars have sold for Bitcoin before. That has happened already. But not in large quantities. It's almost been like,
but I guess what I'm saying, when it's at the point, like right now we're nowhere near that point. But do you know when it's so
for it to become common?
Yeah, that someone would even entertain the idea of accepting crypto.
It's been done. It's been done.
No, I know it's been done, but I'm saying that, like, the average person, like, you just say, "Hey, will you accept crypto?" And they're like, yeah, okay." You know what I mean? They don't even.
So you are talking about it being like broader, like a broader.
Yeah, acceptance. it's like there will be this, you know, the central bank digital currency, and then there's also going to be.
Dude, we still don't even have that in shops yet, though. We still don't even have that in shops, let alone for like. Although I guess you could argue that perhaps something like Bitcoin is actually better suited for large purchases than small. So maybe houses are actually a a more appropriate use case. I don't know. But
You don't think that governments at some point in the future will accept like Bitcoin as like for their
that's already happened as well. In the
Yeah,
States,
yeah,
there are
there are
places
some
where you
in
can
the States.
pay your taxes in crypto, which was,
Yeah.
by the way, the fiat maxis were always saying, oh, you can't pay your taxes in it, and that's the definition of what gives the value money. You'll never be able to pay your taxes in crypto. And then it's like literally within a year of that, there are various places in the States where they accept crypto for tax payment. It's because it's fucking money. This is Richard Hart quote, right? If something can be easily converted into the thing that you think is money, then by definition that thing has value. Like, it's not, you can't put these arbitrary walls in place. It's, is it easily able to be converted or not? Crypto is very easily able to be converted into other cryptos, into fiats. So yeah, I don't think
the beauty will be, because right now I feel like the friction now for the last couple of years and maybe for the next few years is always going to be that onboarding and offboarding point. That is where the friction is. That's where like banks are like, hey, you can't put your own money into exchanges, right? You can't do that with your own money. Okay, I've got a problem with that. That is whack. It's like, don't speak in the past. That's current. That shit is current and coming. Like, that's more of that's coming.
Oh yeah,
like,
true.
let's not,
Good
you
point.
know, so that whole point of it, that's why I'm like so eager for like things to be settled in crypto, like people to, you know, and so we've got a lot of onboarding to do. We've got it's a generational thing. It's going to take a generation. Like, we're going to be like way older before that becomes the norm. It might take 20 years, 15, 20 years.
I don't want this to sound like my idea versus your idea, because obviously we can do both. But notice how, in my opinion, what you're keen for and what you're looking forward to, that is going to happen anyway. Like, there's no way that's not happening. Whereas fighting to maintain an advantage for retail investors, that's not guaranteed, man. They've got all sorts of, like, institutions have got all sorts of tricks of how they come into markets and try to give themselves and their mates the biggest advantages. And they are going to be using those tactics plus new tactics, because of the fact that what I said before about how this has differences that they will have not encountered before. And they will be doing everything they can to co-opt this space and make it another place where they can basically just reef fucking money straight off retail investors. So I think in terms of something that requires like focus and maintained fight, that is super, super, super critical. So, and notice how also there's financial incentive for people to do all of those other things that are going to be really cool, like fiat on and off ramps, financially incentivized. Accepting it in certain places, financially incentivized. You're cutting out the middleman, so the merchant and the person so there's all sorts of like game theoretical and financial incentive structures that will help to boost all of these other things that are going to increase adoption and make crypto awesome. But fighting for retail is not necessarily just inherently profitable. It's more of a thing that just requires us to do the right thing.
I mean, the whole thing about us getting it into fiat so that it can be spent. I mean, I feel like that's more of a short-term thing.
True as well. Yeah. I was just using it as
that's
an
going to be
example.
addressed. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm agreeing with what you say. I don't think there's anything you've said that I've disagreed with at all. Like,
circular economy is the way.
As much as, you know, it's more interesting to hear people disagreeing with each other. I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. Where I see
cool.
the
Thanks.
ability of the individual to, you know, just not be encumbered by rules, you know, that are like too onerous, let's say, will be when people can just transact in crypto and just, you don't need to do that. You don't have to do that extra step. We don't have to do that extra step of like, now I need to switch it into this shit so that you can like put it into your bank. Like, all of that whole side of it is the pain in the ass. us trying to like get the adapter so into this fucking weird like wall socket, like let's just not need that wall socket at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait, I've got a good analogy for this, this is already a great analogy that wasn't mine, of the comparison of the internet versus the Microsoft intranet, right? This statement that people are like, oh, how am I going to get my money in and out of the bank, etc., because of this and this reason and these problems, how's that going to work? Would be like someone saying, yeah, this internet thing's really cool, but how am I going to like get that shit back into my Microsoft intranet shit? It's like, dude, you don't need to. Fuck it. Fuck that dumb shit. Like, that shit's on its way out, bro. Like, that's so, yeah, dude, we've got this. Like, it's,
yeah.
And I think it's going to happen quite quickly, because there's a lot of things that in crypto, it seems weird for people that have been in crypto for a really long time that these things haven't already happened. And that's for various reasons. Like, legacy hostility has certainly been a delaying or damping factor on these things. But when it happens, it's going to happen quick, and it'll be quicker than people expect. I mean, look, you've already got examples like El Salvador and shit like that, where they just immediately just rolled it out countrywide. I think it's going to, you know how...
It's probably more possible for a small country like, you know, El Salvador. It's probably like a good move for them.
Yes.
Because they're so small, and a relatively small uptick in the price of Bitcoin, you know, over the next 10 years will make them a super rich country. You know
that saying, dude, they have positioned themselves amazingly to become like an economic powerhouse, like a Hong Kong or like a Kuala Lumpur or a Singapore of the future. Like, they will be a Dubai of the future now, because of how heavily they've adopted crypto, in my opinion. You know that saying,
and do you know what that's going to do, bro? Do you know what the best thing about that's going to be? Is that when other
flagship
nations see that,
they're
going to be like,
the shining
oh,
city
shit,
on the hill. Yeah,
bro. It's going to be no different than hearing the story of the guy who got into crypto and bought
exactly,
Lambos
dude.
and that.
They will be the nation state Shiba
version
Inu buyer. Yes,
exactly,
dude. Yes,
exactly,
and Sailor will be the company Shiba Inu buyer. Like, it, people should realize this, that that shit is just happening on like exactly what happened in crypto and how people get into crypto. That same game theory and that same psychology works on company,
on the leaders.
It's all human based, right? It's all human. All these things is just groups of humans. So it's like that. All that shit still works.
Yeah,
you know
that who's the guy in El Salvador? He definitely drank the Kool-Aid. Like,
bro, Bukele drank the Kool-Aid hard, bro, hard. Dude, now he rolls with like Max and Stacy. He literally chills with Max and Stacy. Like, he drank the crypto Kool-Aid so hard, bro, so hard. Hey, you know that saying, there are decades where nothing happens, and then there are years where decades happen, or it might be slightly different. It might be there are decades where only years of shit worth of stuff happens. I think, look, AI is a great example here, where it's like multiple decades of just it being like a concept, and then it seemed like overnight the thing just exploded into being real, and everyone talking about it, everyone using it, and that sort of shit. I think the same thing could happen with crypto to do with some of these aspects that we're talking about, that it's like all of this build up where it's been relatively underground. It's only been a niche community that's talking about it, working on it, building it. And then literally it could just be this like, maybe not as crazy fast and sudden as the AI thing, but definitely a step change in adoption and awareness could happen in crypto. In fact, I saw an interesting report that said, don't look at the adoption and the awareness, look at the understanding. It's a third metric in terms of, because I have always talked about adoption and awareness being different. The awareness of crypto is very, very high, because we've gone through bull cycles where it's ended up on mainstream media. They talk about Bitcoin. So awareness of crypto and its existence, very high. Adoption, very low. But then there's a third metric that I hadn't thought of until I saw this report that's talking about understanding. Now that's different, right? That's a different category. There could be people that don't have crypto that understand it. Possibly it's the reason why they're not in crypto. because they understand enough about it that they're like, no, that's too high risk for me or whatever. And then there are people that are in crypto that don't understand it. By the way, spoiler alert, that's probably a fuck ton of people.
That's
probably the majority, right? So now we've got these 3 different metrics, and they're very different.
Actually.
And they've each got an S curve. Nah, dude, you know enough, bro. In my opinion, you know enough to not be like a unknowledgeable. So each of these things has a different. Each of these things has a different S curve. So when Richard says that, say, Bitcoin or crypto is towards the end of its adoption S curve or whatever like that, he's probably actually talking about the awareness S curve, not the adoption S curve. And then we've got this third one now as well, which is actually understanding. And understanding is critical because once someone understands crypto, they will rush out of their fucking legacy shit. Like literally straight to the bank to get your fucking money out and put it in crypto. That's the correct play for people that understand this shit, not financial advice. So
that's what I did.
Yep.
So
dude, it's insane
asking,
to me. It's insane to me that money in the bank is completely not your money. Why the fuck would I want that? Why the fuck would I want that? I definitely don't want that shit.
It's awful, dude. It's really, it's shit house. So I've got this. What's El Salvador's average buy price? I bet you it's like $68,000. So they're definitely underwater.
It doesn't matter. No, it wouldn't be. Dude, no, it wouldn't be the Pico tile. It wouldn't be the Pico tile. Come on, man.
No, I was joking. Like,
okay. So look, there's a website called BitcoinTreasuries.org, I think it is.
But which country isn't underwater at the moment? And look, what's more of a sure thing than Bitcoin and HEX? Like, seriously.
So as in what's more of a sure thing than like PulseChain and HEX? I would have to think about that.
And
but I think even if I gave it big thought, I don't think I'm going to come up with an answer. I don't think there is a better play at the moment.
So all right. So in this world, what are the things that are required? All right. So you need energy, right? So right now, petroleum based things are like very high. Like we need them because if you don't have that, you don't have food being transported from A to B. So people are going to starve. So that's like really, really high on, useful. We need that shit. I think
this is a bit sad actually that USA actually has 100 times more Bitcoin than El Salvador. Doesn't that fucking suck that you have these draconian governments like China and the United States that just
how much
confiscation
bigger?
And like,
but per capita El Salvador is going to shit all over
per capita. But isn't
that's
it
how
fucked
everything
that, like these governments that like they've got more Bitcoin than me. Like American government's got more Bitcoin than me. That sucks. Like China, so America and China have basically got like 200,000 Bitcoin apiece. But if you go to this website, you'll see how many companies and governments and private entities and ETF, like it's just insane how much.
Love to know how the US government custodies their Bitcoin.
By the way, unfortunately, this doesn't have average buy price. It's got average value now. It's got value today. So Mt. Gox has got 6 billion in Bitcoin currently. El Salvador's got 71 million, and USA, China 6 billion apiece. So Mt. Gox is actually holding as much Bitcoin as China and the US in each individual.
That's so crazy.
It's crazy.
That is so crazy.
Crazy. Gox update actually, they reckon October, end of October. That's meant to be like the final date, that even if everyone is paid out at slightly different times, that everyone should have their shit back by that date. Subject to further delays. Sorry, but you were about to say something. I cut you off.
Well, there's a question from Brizology asking something about RH's bags. I have no idea, bro. I wouldn't even try and speculate. I got no idea.
I mean, I'd be guessing, but I guarantee you he wouldn't have zero. Like, as in, there's not a chance in fuck that he wouldn't be hedging that shit, because it's like he wants to be able to say that he wants to be able to flex on everyone and be like, if Bitcoin goes up and someone's like, haha, Bitcoin went up more than HEX or something like that, he'll just be like, I've got more Bitcoin than you as well. Fuck you. Like do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have an absolute fucking metric fuck ton of Bitcoin. Plus it's a hedge, right? Like as in anything's possible. Something can go wrong. Why would you have all your shit on just one blockchain? If that blockchain fails, you're fucked. Your net wealth is fucked, right? So
yo, check this out. Check this out. Steve Mc 1966 CBA froze my account last week when I put 10K in 50
and
questions
nothing to do with crypto. Just literally just because of dollars. That's fucked. Yeah, they will stick a fucking endoscope right on up there when it's completely fucked. And dude, 10 grand these days is fucking nothing. You can't even buy a car for that. Like they are just.
Did I tell you what happened to me in Italy? Did I tell you, dude?
For less than the value of a fucking car, bro. It's fucked.
Did I tell you what happened to me when I went to Italy? I sent funds over.
Yep.
Right. So I went over there and I sent funds over so that because we stayed over there for a few months. So I sent funds over. I go to the bank because there's an account, like we have an account. And I go, I want to take out like, I don't know, give me 5 Gs, you know, 5 Gs. Like I'm on holiday,
Spending money for a holiday.
I've got
very reasonable.
Like, there's 5 of us. There's 5 of us, right?
I was just about to say, if you've got a family, you don't want to have to be going to an ATM every 5 fucking minutes.
No.
Like,
so I go in
for a holiday spend. That's very reasonable to start with.
And I said, look, I it's cool if you don't have it right now. Like, I can come back tomorrow. I don't expect you. Like, I know banks don't hold heaps of. It's like cool. Like, and they're like, no, we can't give you that much in one go.
Like what? Like ever? Like ever? Like
no,
ever?
And I'm like,
even if I give you months to get the bills together, like you still can't do it.
No, they're like you got to come. But they're like you have to come back every 2 weeks and space it out and take maybe $1.5 grand every 2 weeks or something like that. And I'm like you're. I would
have said to them, dude, are you trying to are you trying to give me a guide for money laundering? Like, give me the fucking money, bro. Like, it's my money. Like, give me the fucking guide. Like, what the shit? Give me the money. It's fucked. So what the hell?
So he says to me, you've got to come back every 2 weeks. I'm like, that's unacceptable. And I'm like, what happens? Why can't you give it? Like, oh, because it triggers all these, like, we have to do all these reports and stuff. And I'm like, do the fucking reports. I don't care. Like, you go and do your reports.
Yeah. My shit's legit, bro. Yeah, my shit's legit.
Give me my money. I paid tax on that in Australia. I sent it over here. I'm here on holiday. I'm actually like,
it's wild, bro.
I'm allowed.
It's wild.
Dude, it was just. So I had to do this thing. Eventually, they let me have like 2 grand. Like they let me have 2 grand a week. They let me have like they did me They did me a solid and let me have 2.
Such a favor. Bro, dude. This is like when the traffic cop pulls you over and they're like, oh, we got you for this and this and this. You did an illegal lane change and you were over the and blah, 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 blah. But I'm only going to fine you for this one here. And you're like, do you want to fucking thank you, cunt? Like, what? Like, Want
me to thank you for only,
you shouldn't even.
By the way, to all those who are watching, I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm drinking natural mineral water. It's Schweppes, a hint of blood orange and mango. And there's no
bro.
It's magnificent.
I actually had a similar thing happen at the start of the 2020 nonsense. I was taking quite a bit of cash out of the bank. And I didn't know that that was common, that a lot of people were doing that. I got told much later that like high net wealth individuals were that. So even people that are not conspiracy theorists and not in crypto were all trying to get some cash reserve. So and I just remember getting asked, they were like, because I think I did it 2 or 3 times in a row where I went and took out like a fairly large amount of cash. And they asked me if I was going to keep doing it. And I was like, maybe. What's it to you? And they were like, oh, we need to know. Like what you were saying, they were like, we don't keep that much cash at the branch and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that's fine. if I come in on the day, I was like, I just work just up the road from here. If I come in on the day and you don't have the cash, then I'll come back another time. Like, I'm not gonna give you my playbook. Like, I'm not gonna give you a schedule of what I'm planning. Like, I'll just come in and then you just tell me on the day. It seems to have been fine so far. And if you don't have the cash, I'll just hit a different branch. Like, you know what I mean?
You just walk in and just say, listen, this is not a hold up, but give me all the money you have. Just give me everything you have.
Bro, in some countries, people have been robbing banks for their own money.
Yes. No.
So they go in armed robbery. They go in armed robbery and they're like, I just want my money.
Actually, I heard Adam Stokes talking about this. Right. So anyone who doesn't know, Adam Stokes, look him up. He's another
Aussie, another crypto guy.
A fantastic crypto commentator.
Really well spoken.
It's like, yep. And I was listening to it on Sunday, I think, and he was telling the story about the guy who went into Greece. I think it was Greece or Turkey, or it was one of these countries.
It's one of those countries doing the hyperinflation. I think it was Lebanon.
So he wanted to take money out because his dad was dying. His dad was dying. He needed the money for an operation, and the bank wouldn't give him his money. So he's like, fuck it, and robbed the bank for his own money so that he could go get his dad an operation so his dad wouldn't die.
That's such
and
a
then they
beautiful
arrested
thing
him. And they arrested him after.
Obviously, but imagine in the court case where they're like, you stole the money, and you're like, did I? Like, that would have to be a mitigating factor in the court case, right? That admittedly they can get you on other charges like inciting fear into the public and the tellers, and so it's not like they're just going to be like, oh, that's all good, bro. Like, but it certainly would have to mitigate or have the court admit that it was never your money, right? If they say, well, it was theft, then you're like, well, then you're admitting that it wasn't my money. Because I can't steal from myself, you idiot. So it's a pretty interesting one. And he became a hero. He became like a hero in the country.
Absolutely.
So isn't that some modern day Ned Kelly shit, right? Isn't that some modern day Robin Hood shit where you steal and everyone cheers like you? Sorry, you don't just steal, but you commit
situation
a violent crime or whatever. Like, you commit a potentially violent crime, or
I don't think he actually harmed anyone. Like, it's not like he went in there and started capping people. Like, he just like,
correct. But you know how sensitive people are these days, bro. People can claim that you scared them. Like, and for real, if someone, I don't know what weapon he used, but if you're swinging a gun around, people panic, right?
Think about how horrible of a situation that is to be in. That would be a terrible situation. Horrible. It's like, it's bad enough if you don't have the money, but let's say you have the money, these fuckers won't give it to you.
It would be infuriating. It would be absolutely infuriating. You'd be like, I'm trying to do the right thing and save a loved one.
So that's what we're fighting. That's why we stream. We stream because we want to replace the banks. There's no reason the bank should ever deny you your money. There's no reason. That's your money. Hey, that's your money. So that's what we're fighting for. That's what we're fighting for, because I don't actually think we need the banks like that. I would like to see a society where maybe there are banks, but they're so grateful.
Yeah, and they will still have a place as my fucking whore. Nah, they'll still have like a minor function in society for sure. Like, as in just a little bit like you've seen companies or in industries that have been disrupted pivot into another like so Kodak's a bad example because they actually survived and just became less well, so they lost their public facing household name, but they actually did quite well with digital media, so that's not a great example. But there are examples out there where the disrupted industry or the disrupted company pivoted enough that they maintained a position within that thing. And I think banks will be able to form a minor role, that they just won't be able to do as much corruption, and they won't be able to do as much regulatory capture, this sort of control mechanism shit. That their days of being monopolistic and corrupt are over, but that doesn't mean they just go away completely. I think banks will continue on in a minor form. Can I do a quick throwback to who I forget who it was that brought up that question about Richard Hart having Bitcoin? Was it Brizology?
Brizology, yep.
Right. So this is a big statement. It's one of the ones I wanted to drop on a Twitter space, but we'll do it right here. I was going to do an introductory Twitter space to lead like a pre-show for this, to promote it, and also just, but then I ran out of time, particularly because you wanted to start early, but for other reasons as well. Richard Hart is more powerful in crypto than BlackRock. Allow me to explain. So that's the statement. Richard Hart is more powerful than BlackRock. That's the statement. Now I'm going to explain with the nuance. BlackRock went public saying Bitcoin's the shit. Bitcoin's digital gold. Bitcoin's global shit. It's the fucking best. What did the price do? Fuck all, bro. Fuck all, right? I was thinking about this today because I was like, do I need to be concerned? This is like a string of the most bullish things to happen in crypto. The SEC taking an L, getting slammed. BlackRock, Vanguard getting into Bitcoin mining. Like, it's just been relentless good news, and the prices don't go up. So I'm like, well, is this a bearish market, or is this delay, or is this opportunity? Like, what's going on here? What do you think would happen if Richard Hart, with way less followers, way less global financial influence, and way less money, like way less money than BlackRock, turned on a fucking webcam and said, yo, I actually think Bitcoin's the shit. I think it's really good. It's a really fucking good asset. Bro, you know the answer to this. The fucking price would go to the fucking moon immediately. So who has more power in crypto?
Would have a run.
Dude, Bitcoin would moon hard, bro. Like, so hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
If Richard Hart came out and said that Bitcoin's the digital gold of the globe, if he just literally took the transcript of what BlackRock said and read it out on a fucking live stream, the shit would fucking moon. That is the power of this community, and that is the power of Richard Hart. So if you're not on fucking team win, you need to get your head checked. BlackRock,
Richard Hart is so powerful. Richard Hart is so powerful. He has a 555 carat BlackRock.
Richard Hart owns the BlackRock. That is an amazing call. Richard Hart owns the BlackRock. He puts that fucking BlackRock in a case and just looks at it. It's that shit's decoration for him. Fuck y'all. Yo, so this, but I'm being serious here. Like,
shout out to everyone in the chat.
You've got this one guy. You've got this one guy that's only got. Sorry to who?
Shout out to everyone in the chat. I've seen a few, like all the familiar faces. I also saw Matty Allen in there as well. Shout out some people. Hey,
shout out Matty. Shout out the conference coming up.
R23, CP, Ted DeFi, D Hexagon, Hex Enthusiast, Forks, Mulder, Crypto Class, J Everything. What's up? Ash, Stelline 66. Yeah, like all you guys. Dingo Wolf, Mike James, Charles Stone, Maury. All you guys, thanks for coming along. Don Swan, hang on, this is a good comment. Let's read it. NAB wanted us to KYC our business account. We cancelled it. I like it. So what? Hang on, they wanted you to KYC your business account. What? They wanted you
shouldn't
to
that already be? Shouldn't that already be KYC'd?
But what do you mean? Like every
right,
transaction you had to KYC.
It could have been like maybe like trust structure or something. Like it might have been like, you know how there's legal structures that you can set up that obfuscate who the actual beneficiary and owner is. I've got that shit. And it's like, it's possible that they were like, we want to know who it is that really is like someone needs to step up and get like formally linked to this shit, and they could have just said fuck off. That's what I would do.
Or do they mean that you have to KYC every customer or every payment? Like, for example, I've got like a retail.
Well, it sounds like they're talking about the account. It says KYC our business account.
Ah, right. Like, it would be a pain in the ass if I had to KYC. I wouldn't want to do that. It's like, I don't want these people's information. If someone's walking into a shop and buying something, it's like, I don't want this. I don't want to have to. If I have your information, I have to abide by privacy. But I have to abide by privacy law. Like, in holding that information, I don't want the fucking information. I just don't even want it. But
it also takes up your time, bro. It's not just a responsibility. It's your fucking time as well. All this stuff is fucking bullshit.
And it's harder for smaller companies to do that sort of stuff. Hey, Sammy, what's happening?
What's up?
Hey,
great timing, Sammy.
What's going
great
on?
Timing. I've just been on a big rant saying that Richard Hart is more powerful than BlackRock. By the way, if we assume that Richard Hart, so I think Richard Hart's a multi-decker billionaire, but let's just assume that he only has $9 billion. That's 1,000 times less money than BlackRock. Billion to trillion. And he's only got 1/3 followers on Twitter. And I'm about to just look up Larry Fink or BlackRock, see how many followers they've got.
Yeah, but he'd only be like a half of that, and then the other half would be in crypto.
Actually, BlackRock only has 2x Richard's followers. Like BlackRock, the Twitter account is only 640K followers. By the way, I don't know why my webcam keeps flashing green, like it's almost like it goes green for a second. Anyway, let's look up Larry Fink.
So how are you guys? I was just going to tweet the show out. Sorry I'm late. Well, you guys are early.
Yeah, tweet it out, Sammy. I'm pumped. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, so we usually start at 9:30, which is right now. That's Melbourne, Sydney time. But we've been going for 52 minutes already, just because we wanted to start a little bit earlier.
I don't think Larry Fink is on Twitter. Unless he has me blocked, there's no proper Larry Fink here.
So what's been happening, Sammy? Did you hear the rumors? I heard some rumors on Twitter that the highest of stakes cinematic release might be. I mean, Richard Hart said it might be an international release, which means, like, where would you release it? Apart, like, Australia would be the place to release it, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
What cinemas do you have over there? We have like the Hoyts, Village, and United. That's the three big ones we've got here. What about you guys over?
I haven't been to the cinema for so long, but we've definitely got Hoyts. We used to have one called Greater Union. But we've got a lot of niche, like artsy sort of theaters over here. Like, well, actually, probably not as many as Melbourne
as well.
Probably ours are less. But we've got Regal, and we've got some of them shut down though and get repurposed, so they look like cinemas from the outside, but then inside the business is something different. So I'll have to look into it. But I am bullish on this idea of getting the movie played in Australia, in every city.
Absolutely. Well,
by the way, Sammy, Steakhouse actually did a lot of the legwork, getting in contact with different cinemas and stuff like that. And so, you know how I was thinking about using that Hoyts thing where you privately book the cinema out? He's like, no, fuck all that noise. Like, rather than going to these big chain cinemas and hiring a private cinema, hire one cinema room, you just go to these actual, like, these boutique / artsy theater houses and actually get it put on for real. So rather than it just being like a private screening in a cinema, this would actually be on their fucking docket. Like, it would actually be a movie that they are putting on.
And how do you even do that though?
He's on it. He's already on it. He's already contacted all the people, and like, it's basically done. He's basically done all the hardest shit. We've got one of those.
There's a few in Melbourne. There's a few spotted around Melbourne where they could do that.
He's basically already done all the hard shit. He's already done all the hard legwork of contacting the highest of stakes guys and contacting all the cinemas over here and shit like that. And I just said, mate, I'll do whatever needs to be done on the ground here in Perth. It's basically done. Like, as in, we're just going to light this thing up. And yeah, sounds good.
Sounds awesome. That steakhouse did that.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Well, you know what? It'll come. We'll get it out here. I don't know how, but we'll get it out here.
Sorry, go.
They're probably busy. They haven't answered my email. Did they answer your email at all?
Nah, Hoyt's never got back to me actually on that. Oh, but look, sometimes emails slip through the cracks for me because I've got so much going on that they might have replied, but as far as I'm aware, they haven't replied yet. I just wanted to mention that Satoshi Sakamoto was like, and by the way, Satoshi, if you're watching, I've got my Bitcoin t-shirt on this time. He made a comment. He asked a question. How come it seems like everyone that's building on PulseChain is Australian? And it's true. We've got a lot of like big name projects that have got either Australians involved in prominent positions or just, you know what I mean? Or just Australian teams completely.
The fatty guys are Aussie. The fatty guys
Fatty's
are
Aussie. Steakhouse is Aussie. KDP with the
Liquid Loans.
Power team or whatever power thing.
Power City.
Power City, sorry. Katie's Australian. Liquid Loans have got Australians in their team, not necessarily all of them. Obviously, Walrus is not. It's so many Australians pervasively. And I think it's good because it shows that that Richard doesn't have any links to Australia. So that kind of shows that it's not like Richard and his boys that are just like running shit. It's like, it's just Australia does have a very high per capita rate of crypto enthusiasts and just talented people in general. So
absolutely. We got heaps of good.
The real question is, why is the premiere of this movie in the US and not in Australia?
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. America does actually still dominate crypto in absolute terms. In in total participation, America dominates.
Per capita, bro. Per capita, we smash. We
smash hard. Yeah, we're up
per
there.
Capita,
we're up
we
there.
smash.
We smash hard.
Bro, we smashed.
Wait, the DeFi Late Show tagline, we smash. Sammy, what's your
we smash?
Because for me personally, the excitement has come back into crypto. Sammy, you know this, like as in from our chats organizing this show, that my excitement level is leading the actual bull market. So my excitement has been going up on the chart.
There's been some big stuff happening. Ripple winning the court case was really good for crypto. I think everyone's got really excited. Even TikTok, all these people are popping out saying the bull market's coming, position yourself. It's going to be a $10 to $30 trillion market cap. You can make hundreds of thousand X's on some of these coins. We've got to pick the right one. We're in the best space.
Stacks.
Yeah. Everyone's getting excited, but there's still a long way to go.
What did it do last time?
Still boring. What do? The market cap for crypto?
Well, what was the total market cap for all crypto? 3 trillion. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we.
What do you reckon
I'm pretty
it'll do
sure
this
we got
time?
to 3 trillion. I can double check.
Really? Did it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we hit 3 trillion.
Do you reckon we hit 10 trillion this time? Do you reckon we hit 10 trillion this time?
Well, people reckon 10 to 30. 10 to 30.
Yeah, I reckon 10. I reckon 10 should be pretty easy.
10.
We spiked 3 trillion on a wick.
Crazy.
If you're looking at a weekly chart, let's just see if we ever closed a single day over there. Did we close a day over 3 trillion is the big question.
I think 30 is like over.
Bro. We literally did not even close a single daily candle over 3 trillion. 3 trillion was the top. Even on a daily basis, we spiked it. But remember that, remember that Bitcoin and the rest of the market have an offset, right? So you end up with this situation that if you're looking at total cap, it's somewhere between where Bitcoin tops and where then the alts run after. So somewhere in there, either when Bitcoin tops or shortly after is typically when the actual top comes in. So yeah. So 3 trillion. So let's do, wait, so that's only a 3x to get to
Hex
9
to 10
trillion.
Hex
Come
to
on, we
10
need-
Hey,
trillion.
Maddie.
This
Hey,
bull market,
Claire.
this bull market, we need to be able to say that crypto total cap has more assets under management than BlackRock. Come on. Come on. It's 3x
I know.
all-time
That's the
high.
thing. You know how many people have filed for Bitcoin ETFs, even over here in Australia? Like it's everywhere. So that's why everyone's thinking it's going to be $10 to $30 trillion market.
Easily
But
10. Easily 10.
They're not buying Bitcoin though. They're buying a position, aren't they?
Bitcoin's just the biggest driver in the cap. So in the total cap, because it still has so much dominance over the market. Sorry, I'm answering a different
You
question.
reckon
I just
easily
realized
10?
you actually asked a different question. What your question?
You reckon easily 10 trillion?
Yeah, dude, that's only a 3x from previous all-time high. 3x from like, or just 3.3 recurring x from previous all-time high. Easy. Plus, we've got new projects like PulseChain that are going to pump so fucking hard that, assuming that they get included in the total cap, which they should, will
it all depends how high
bro.
Bitcoin goes. I think it depends how high Bitcoin goes.
Well, okay, let me put it like this. I personally think that at least
how high do you think Bitcoin will?
I personally think that at least one, but probably multiple, but at least one RH project will actually, on paper, go above will take number one market cap spot, right? So on paper, this is my opinion, that we will see it on any site that is giving honest rankings where it's literally just circulated supply times price, that we will see at least one Richard Hart project take the top of the fucking list. So think about that for a second. That then you would only need Bitcoin to do like a fucking 3x from here, and then have one Richard Hart project that then is. Do you see how quickly this shit as a total cap goes?
No, because I'm just thinking.
Then you've got ETH as well.
ETH is going to go
because on ETH as well, and ETH bros still think there's going to be a flippening like.
When BTC was so this is what I reckon. I reckon we could see.
I think 10 trill is low bullshit. I think that's conservative.
I think it is. Well, if you think the first time we hit a trill, how much was the last bull run before this? Was it less than $1 trillion? Was it 800 million?
Sorry, when?
So the 2017 bull run, what was the total market cap for that? The highest market cap? If the last one reached up to 3 trillion, the other one didn't even hit.
That was only 680 billion. Like that was only sort of high, like near. Let's just say 700 billion. So not even a trillion. Not even a trillion.
Not even $1 trillion. All right.
Yeah. Even that was already over a 3x in cap.
Yeah.
But
So
we've
that's
got so much more going on now.
So why couldn't we 3x again?
Easily.
I was just thinking it's going to slow down. Like it's not going to accelerate.
Sammy, no, but we had a very muted top. We had an incredibly muted top on the last bull run. So I think, which is in my favor for like, i.e., I would think that the X gain from top will. So 2017 had a particularly blow off-ish top, and then 2020 had a particularly muted top. So you're comparing one which was a very extreme high with one that was very muted. So that is like, I think, a artificially low X from top to top.
Yeah. Yep.
So I just think for multiple, like when I think about this, 10 trill, and remembering also that number is fake as fuck, and that you would never be able to get even a tiny baby fraction of that out of the actual market. It's not real. That money's not real. Whereas when you talk about BlackRock's assets under management, their shit is like very able to get, like, it's like houses and gold and fucking companies, and like it's obviously, admittedly, if they tried to dump it all at once as well, it would crash all of those markets or significant damage. But the slippage would be nothing close to what you would get in crypto trying to liquidate the. Well, that would be the entire market. So it clearly goes to zero. So whereas with BlackRock, they could actually get some of that money out, like theoretically. So I think 10 trill is conservative to me.
I'd love 10 trill. I'm going to call between 7.5 and 10. I think that's where it's going to go. But if it goes above, I'd be really happy. If it goes to 30,
your max is my min. Your max is my min, bro. And you know what? I'm actually going to add that to my crypto insults list. I keep a list of crypto insults, and I'm going to add your max.
How long is
your max is my min.
All right. So can I justify what I'm saying here? I'll say that I think that Bitcoin may be 150, 120, or I think about 150 for Bitcoin, give or take 25 grand.
Oh, you're going individual and then the dominant, and then you're going to use the dominance. You're going to go Bitcoin and then Bitcoin dominant. Like what you think Bitcoin will be and then what its dominance over the market will be to work it out. Is that how you're doing it?
Well, I'll just say 150 mil times 20 mil.
Wait. Do you mean 1.5 trill? Bitcoin 1.5 trill, yeah?
That would be Bitcoin 3 trill. Is that trill? No.
Bitcoin at 3 trillion.
No, sorry. Trillion. Now, what's that? Is that quadrillion?
Don't ask me.
Wait, I love how in crypto the moon math hits so hard that sometimes you're fucking up the zeros by like a full set of 3. Like you're literally like, how many X's did I make on this thing? Oh shit. Oh no, we didn't make 1,000X. We made fucking 100,000X. Like it's just it's just fucking crazy.
I should fucking know to try and do that math on stream.
No math on live. No math on live.
Now that we've had approval from the big players like BlackRock, that's going to bring more retail mum and dad investors in.
Yeah,
because it's got the approval of the finest, like the financial system.
It legitimizes it to all the fucking brokey, to all the brainwashed, sheep that believe mainstream media, whether they are at any level. They are retail, they are institutions, they work for a company, they're a family office, they work for a government. It has legitimized crypto. So those sheep, those retards exist in all levels of structure, like of all society, of all structure, of all societal structure, that it has legitimized crypto in the eyes of all of those randos. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. It will actually bring in more retail, more institutions, more of everything.
Superannuation funds in Australia will invest in Bitcoin ETFs.
Yes.
And that's
everyone.
That's a lot of that is a lot of money. Superannuation in Australia is a lot. That's our pension fund here.
Every dumbass that believes mainstream media now will be pro crypto. That's the short version of this. And that's still, unfortunately, the people who understand some of these harsh truths about the world, I call it a growing minority, right? So I'm optimistic about the fact that those numbers are increasing. People are waking up on the regular, but we're still the minority, and that's still significant. Yep. So this is gonna flip the attitude of the majority of the population, like of the globe. So it's big.
Hey, when did Elon Musk get in? Was he legitimized the industry?
After me. That he did. Do you know what? I think he did less in before Elon. In before Elon should be my new Twitter fucking thing. But so many people can say that they were in before Elon.
Yeah, I was. Well, when did he get in? Because I'm thinking has he been the catalyst to push them?
You know what? I might just search Twitter for at Elon Musk and then Bitcoin.
Well, he's a Doge boy. He's a Doge man.
But I'd say the first time he ever said anything positive about crypto, it would have been about Bitcoin. That's as in the logic for me searching this. But how do I order these by date? shit. Oh,
Yeah,
this
Pulse
is
would
other
be-
people tagging. This is other people tagging Elon. Fuck.
Right now, like Maddie's written,
I don't know how to
Maddie
work this
Allen
out,
has
Sammy.
written, right now with the OA, Pulse is number 5 crypto at 15 billion. HEX is number 6 crypto at 14 billion. And that's excluding the 2 stable coins, which
On what
what is
site?
it? That's I'm not sure what site that would that be on Paprika? And you'd have to exclude the I'll look it up.
Dude, we need Paprika to take V2 on. We need Coin Paprika to acknowledge Pulse X V2 because they still don't do it.
Why don't we
It's
Twitter
wrecking us.
storm? Tangent. Why don't we organise a Twitter storm? Get everyone to Twitter storm Coin Paprika.
I have tried. So it seems that, and this is something I wanted to talk about after what happened yesterday. In fact, that's a whole thing. So I'll let you guys, before we embark onto a new topic. But the short answer, Sammy, is we can absolutely do that. But whether something goes viral or not, step back. Whether the people that we are tweeting at actually take us seriously, there's 2 things involved. One is, does the community rally around the idea and actually blow it up like what happened yesterday in a big way? But more importantly, does the company that we're tweeting at see that engagement and say, oh, we should take this seriously? This is like the majority of crypto users and the most engaged community asking for something, we should actually pay attention. And so if they're dumbasses and they don't acknowledge that, then we're dead in the water, even with a viral tweet. But it seems to have more impact than what I would have expected in most cases.
Someone else said that we should get CoinSpot on PulseChain too. Imagine how much free money they've got. They probably already have taken it. You know, all these exchanges, all that free money they would have.
I don't think so. A theory that I heard that I liked is, if any of these exchanges take any of the forked shit and take the money for themselves, people will see it on chain and then they'll get fucked. So they only have 2 options. This is just a theory. So this is not fact.
I think CoinSpot
in
give
this
it to
theory,
you, I think.
they only have 2 options. They give the users the money that the PulseChain forked assets that they deserve, or they completely ignore it and they don't do shit and they don't use it themselves and they don't give it away and they just go, we're not supporting it, and they just ghost on. So I think that's a reasonable, but anything can happen in crypto. There are obviously exchanges that will just, I don't know, just take the money and then claim it was a hack or some shit. But yeah, CoinSpot is a pretty popular exchange in Australia, isn't it, Sammy? Especially for new people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always been awesome for me to use. You know, and I think it'd be a good idea if we get them on board. We've been trying for years, though. We've been tweeting at CoinSpot for years to look at HEX, and you know, but these exchanges have that free money. You know, all that Pepe and everything that they've got there, they'd have that double just sitting there.
Yeah. The big ones would be the ETH. Their ETH. Although I guess that got diluted pretty heavily. Yeah, ETH got slammed by the ratio. HEX wasn't listed, which was one of the big survivors of like value in terms of maintaining value. There's some individual examples of coins that maintained or regained their value, like Pepe, Uni, Wrapped Bitcoin, Wrapped ETH.
Yeah. Oh well, up to them, but maybe
we can definitely tweet at them, Sammy. I try to at least every couple of days to tweet at a company or a website. And so a recent one that I did was Token Metrics, because I noticed that on their site, when you filter down to just, they've got PulseX V1 and V2 listed, but when you select those exchanges, it says no data. So they've got the exchanges able to be filtered for, but then none of the coins actually listed. So I tweeted at them. So look, if anyone watching wants to go on my Twitter and just scroll through and find the this is almost like crowdfunding, where it's like you scroll the different ideas and the ones that resonate with you, fucking blow it up, like retweet it, click like on it, etc. Because every few days I choose someone, and the way I do it, and I encourage other people to do this tactic, is as you move through your crypto journey, like as you move through your crypto day, when you hit something where you think to yourself, I really wish HEX was listed here, or I really wish that this particular protocol had this asset that I care about, or I wish that they were pro PulseChain, or that they included any of that. If that thought enters your mind, tweet it out, or if you don't have a large follower, just follow an account, just DM me and we'll do it. Like I'll do it for you, and we'll just blow it up and try and get the shit done.
Nice. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Speaking of Twitter,
Speaking of Twitter, fuck y'all, I'm out. By the way, speaking of ghosting, Sammy, your virtual green screen is doing some shit where occasionally it looks like you're just like what's it called, where like ghosts
Glitching.
like they phantom that shit and they just like it's like an apparition. It's like an apparition where it's like it's there but it's not quite there.
Rugged.
Should
I got so rugged, man.
What were you gonna say?
What was I going to say?
Something about Twitter.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah. That's it. Yeah. So you tagged me in a post in relation to Spillways Finance, which I don't know much about, and I would like to know a little bit more about it. But apparently, that's some sort of they're picking up where Tornado left off.
Yes, it's very similar to Tornado
Really?
in terms of you mix.
So Tornado Nova, right? Nova. Because it's got the second, it's got the side chain.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah, they're doing a ZK layer as well. Yes. Yeah. So exactly where Tornado was going. So it's like they've picked up where Tornado was going, which is like a base layer mixer, a ZK Nova style, Nova X or ZK money shit, and anonymous credit cards that you can buy with crypto direct on their site. And they'll let you choose between digital or physical. But just remember that if you choose physical, you have to give them an address to ship the card to, which then relinks it somewhat to your identity, depending on your situation. Because remember that even PO boxes,
I think it links it to you. If you've got it on your phone, it links it to your identity anyway. Like the second you phone, it links it to you.
But what are you doing on your phone? Just do it on web.
But when you say it's a digital version, it means
they just give you the card number. They just give you the card number and shit. So that you can do it through Apple Pay, but you don't have to. You can just generate. So this is an assumption, by the way. So okay, we need to start off by saying this is all very early and we haven't done like full verification. We haven't tested it ourselves. They haven't even finished implementing PulseChain. So everyone slow the fuck down and don't just assume that by us talking about it here that we're saying it's definitely legit. You can safely just go fucking all in, right? Tread carefully. Yeah. However,
tread very carefully.
Tread very carefully.
Just assume that if you interact with it, you might lose lose everything.
Just like everything in crypto, right? That. But assuming that they are legit and that this shit is and I'm gonna just continually test this shit out, right? Like as in. We're going to there'll be Pulse Police will probably look at the contracts, make sure nothing dodgy is going on in there. We can test these credit cards and shit like that. But what I think that they're doing, and this is an assumption, is that if people want the card actually mailed to them, I'm pretty sure they're just like programming, like they're just getting blank credit cards, which you can do. You can legally do this, by the way. There are companies out there where if you want a fancy metal credit card because you're like, you want to flex on sales staff, then you can just get any credit card recoded into a metal card, and that can include NFC chips, etc. So I think what they're doing is people who want physical card, they're just encoding it and then sending it to you. But what they're really doing is they're just generating like a gift card, like either a Visa or a MasterCard gift card, which is fine. Even Visa and MasterCard, they're happy for people to do that. Where it's like a card that can be used anywhere where Visa can be used, that is, you're able to give it as a gift. So rather than gifting someone cash, you gift. And so Visa likes that shit because it means that they capture part of the market where someone would typically use cash to give their friend a present. They can just give them these Visa cards, but it necessitates them allowing it to be anonymous, because what the fuck? Like, if they can't put that much friction and be like, you have to KYC these cards and shit like that. People will just be like, fuck off, I'll just use cash. Like, I'll just gift my friend cash. I'm not jumping through all these fucking hoops.
So aren't they pretty brave though, doing it after
very brave
Tornado Cash guys?
Bro, after what happened to Alexei Persev, what these guys, they've got balls of steel. I hope they are in a jurisdiction that cannot be extradited. Like, I hope. I'm too scared to ask. Like, I really want to do everything possible to protect them and their identity, because it takes balls of steel to do something like this.
But even using it is still like,
well, using it's ballsy, but creating it and running it is next level ballsy. Like,
absolutely.
Well, I mean, actually,
is he still there? Is he still in jail? The poor guy.
Actually, I haven't checked.
I think he got out. I think he got out.
Did he?
Maybe like house arrest or some shit. Let's check. Yeah, we've been waiting for this shit, and not waiting for it. We've been hoping for this shit. Like, you know, I know particularly 43 is very privacy focused in terms of providing it for others in the crypto space.
I just think that crypto can't work properly. You can't. Crypto just cannot work properly without privacy solutions.
Damn right.
It just can't.
Damn right.
It just can't.
Damn right.
Because every time if you want to send something to someone, you're like, okay, well, now this person needs to know all of my stuff. So you need privacy solutions, you know, and it's not to, you know, and I always throw this disclaimer out there. It's not that anyone needs to do anything that's, you know, against the law. It's just so that you can protect your privacy. You don't want, you know, once your address is out there, it's out there. But if you use one of these protocols, you can send money and they don't need to know. You can just make the money appear in their address that they give you. And then they can take the money out using the same protocol if they want. Or you can even transfer it to their layer 2. Like, if they've got that same protocol, you can just transfer it to their layer 2 as well. So the fact that they're wanting to put this onto, you know, allow you to do it natively with PulseChain is awesome. It's so good. We couldn't have hoped for.
It looks like he got released very recently. So April 28th of 2023, he tweeted out, obviously as a joke, sorry, I was AFK. What did I miss? So I think that was his, like, I'm back.
April.
Like,
Yeah. I remember something along those lines.
So that's only a few months ago.
So
that was
they
a
let
long
him
time.
Go. He was in there for.
But he could be on house arrest or some kind of, like, he could be getting like Andrew Tated at the moment, where it's like, so this is not him like being totally free necessarily. It just means he has access to Twitter, which means he's probably not in a jail.
Look, being not being in a jail and being with your family
is good enough. Yeah, it's good enough.
Is
good enough for now.
Way better.
Better.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's like what, I mean, really, we're gonna, you know, it's problematic because that, you know, we don't know if that guy actually did anything. He might have done something. Like, maybe he was just driving around in Lambos and.
Dude, don't let mainstream media fucking.
If they were
trick you, man.
Yeah, no, I'm not. But you know,
this is it's a classic move that as soon as they want to try and fuck your reputation, they just throw all of this shit at you. That the standard is just standard operating procedure for these fucks. So,
I was actually listening to the Tucker Carlson Andrew Tate interview that was on a couple of days ago. I was just listening to that earlier today, and like they've just gone full out on him, you know. So essentially, this is what he explained, and I don't know, I can't speak to the veracity, but this is what he said. he said something along the lines of he's getting charged for human trafficking because he sweet talked, apparently this is what it is, he sweet talked girls into doing TikTok videos for which he was
And then
supposed
keep
to
the
have,
money, like, or something.
but he
like,
never, but
basically.
he's never received any money from TikTok. The girls don't, I think Sammy mentioned she had to leave because she was glitching or something.
Oh, it's only her
Oh,
video
she's-
that's glitching. Sammy, you can come back, yo.
Yeah, come back.
It was only the video, like not the
Yeah,
audio.
It's just, I think it's just her background, because she's got the auto background going. But yeah, so they've basically, the girls that they're saying were the victims have said openly, we're not victims. And do you know what the thing is?
However,
and this is what,
bro, see, the reason why they stopped that from being a thing is because, and so this part is actually legit in terms of if there's a perception that the witness can be intimidated or scared, then you need a function to say, we're going to disregard the fact that this witness says that it's all G, and we're going to proceed with prosecution because we believe that this witness actually was harmed, and they're just saying that it's all good because
it's
they're
a
scared
legit,
of the.
yeah, that's a
So
legit,
that's a legit. So that part is a legit thing for a prosecutor to say, look, we want to disregard that, or I mean, look, they should still take into account, and the prosecution should have to argue that
this hasn't even gone before a judge.
Why
bro.
it shouldn't.
It hasn't even gone before a judge.
Yet.
No, but just think about that. The dude has been under arrest and
Oh that was horrific. That's horrific
for 6 months,
bro. Horrific that they can put anyone in a jail, and this can happen in any country. It's not just because it's Romania. That they can put you in a jail, they can take away your freedom on this guilty until proven innocent bullshit. It's like, fuck off. Let me stay in my house until you prove that I'm not innocent, right? Like, it's completely fucked. It's completely fucked. But yeah, sorry, continue. I just wanted to clarify that one thing, that I don't think that that's a dirty tactic. I think that's fair for a prosecutor to argue, hey, look, I know the witnesses are saying that it's all G. Because imagine like a mafia or something where it's like everyone's too scared to speak out. Like you're never going to have someone coming and testify, or very rarely you'll have someone testifying against a mafia. Like, are you insane? Like, do you care about your life and the life of the people you care about? Like, of course, like, so I think it's fair that if you're saying, look, this is a criminal syndicate, and the testimony of these females is to be should or whatever, but that should be for a court to decide, or a judge to decide whether or not that's the case. And maybe should still be taken into account, but maybe to a lesser degree, or you know what I mean? It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, and it seems to me that they just probably just don't have that many resources in Romania to handle all that stuff properly, because that's where you need more people to do the work to investigate stuff, and you need more judges and more, like, you need more resources, but that's where you get the bottleneck. That's where you get the bottleneck in these places. So it's easy, just I guess you just lock them up until we get till the
this is where all that insane shit like flight risk and not only flight risk, but like risk of them, if they're free, that facilitates them to start witness tampering and bribing and threatening, and like I think that was the main reason why they kept them in, was they said, if we let them go, then it's gonna massively hurt the ability for the prosecution to actually do their job and shit, which again, in some cases could be a fair reasoning. But I think in this case, they're using all of these things that in some contexts could be fair. They're taking them and they're weaponizing them and using them to actually punish them and deprive them of liberty and those sorts of things. So it's pretty fucked. But yeah, 43, you're frozen, man. If I'm not bopping right now, then I'm also frozen. I'm listening to Biggie. So yeah, Alex, regardless of whether he's free or not, does not, in my opinion, reduce the fear level, like the fear potential for people creating forks or mirrors or similar protocols to what Tornado was. And in my opinion, the way they went after Alex and Tornado Cash in general, in my opinion, that demonstrates to me that it was effective tech. So whereas other privacy solutions, I don't see people getting arrested and jailed, right? Like I don't see sanctioned blacklists, people getting jailed, like active extreme hostility. I don't see that on other privacy solutions, right? So so why not? Like, why are we not seeing that? And so to me, one of the ones, so I'll defend Monero though, is they put out some massive bounty for anyone who could break Monero or some shit like that, which in my opinion gave it some legitimacy. But yeah. So should we, does that pretty much tie up that topic? Should we talk about this thing that blew up yesterday, or yesterday for us? In fact, actually we sort of already are on this topic. This tweet, that it was absolutely insane. It was absolutely insane. So basically the thing that we're talking about, this Spillways, Coin Mixer, and privacy solutions. So I am already aware that our community is amazing. I am already aware that our community gets the highest engagement. I'm already aware that our community rallies around important life shit like longevity and privacy and freedom. I, however, was not ready for what happened yesterday, that I literally woke up, I tweeted, I was tagged in a tweet. Someone had, it was the Rays. The Rays had tagged me, that's the Twitter handle, the _ Rays, had tagged me and KDP. I'm unsure why the choice was me and KDP. It seemed like an odd combination. I mean, maybe because we're both Australian, I'm not sure. But this has nothing to do with Australia though. And it just said, hey, you know, do you two think there's any chance that this thing could be implemented for PulseChain? And I looked into it briefly, saw that it was a mixer, got excited, went straight into their Telegram group and asked the question. I said, is there any chance that you guys would consider adding PulseChain? One of the devs said, we've been considering it, but we would need to see the demand. We would need to see the demand, and we would need to see the buildings going on that chain, and we would also need to see that there's like liquidity on that chain. And I was like, right. I was like, bro, watch me, bro. Go to Twitter and watch this shit, right? Went on Twitter and just said, yo, if you guys want this team to implement this privacy solution, you need to help me blow this shit up. People went so fucking hard retweeting and liking and quote tweeting and getting in there to adding, like following them and retweeting their shit and going in their Telegram and voting on polls and shit like that. Within a time period that was like definitely less than an hour, their team was just like, all right, we'll do it. Like, you guys are nuts. You guys are nuts. We're doing it.
Yeah, that would have been early this morning, was it?
And the best part was, so it would have been, it would have been in the AMs for us. Like, it was like in the early AMs. And the best part was, I went to tweet out like, hey guys, they've said yes. And I thought to myself, if I tweet this and said, yep, they've done it, are people just going to take their foot off the gas and basically that they were only doing the blow up to try and get them to say yes? And then once they say yes, they'll just take their foot off the gas. But I was like, fuck it. I value transparency and information propagation. So I'm going to disclose this information that they've already said yes. The beautiful thing was the shit didn't stop. It just hyped people up even more. Like, so people weren't like, oh, they've said yes now, we don't need to worry about it. Like, we can just fucking stop blowing this thing up. People went even harder. Like, then they started getting even more engagement on their actual profile, more follow, because then people are like, okay, well, now I need to follow this team to know when they implement Pulse and shit like that. They were really impressed, and they basically said, we are happy with the trade. You guys have given us engagement. We will give you privacy. So it's like that. And man, so at one point, so after I tweeted it out, it almost instantly had
tangent. Can I just jump in for a second, mate? You know how refreshing it is, like that after years of fucking gatekeeping, like when there's some good shit in crypto, and then the community comes together and just says, like, asks for something from a group or developers, and they actually just give us some respect and say, yeah, okay, let's do it. You guys have come out in force. Yeah. And do you know how, like, it feels so good, bro.
It's the opposite,
feels so good. My God,
bro.
Like, some of you guys who are new, some people are new to the they've just gotten here. They don't realize like how heartbreaking it was, like rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection for years, it felt like. And then now this sort of thing feels so damn good, and it makes me so happy. Like, it makes me so happy.
Oh, isn't it? Isn't it? So it's so good after that feeling, after just being rejected, and have to fight every day on Twitter is a big fight. Just
now you know what it feels like to be an adolescent male.
You know? And now it's smooth sailing. It's like, easy free, just waiting for that 10,000 eggs.
That's it.
Like, read a magazine. Hey, Kinetics, what's up?
43. I literally tweeted exactly what you're talking about today before the show. And
really?
I'm actually going to read it out because I won't be able to say it as well as what I wrote in this tweet, right? I said, I've just realized that our community is the new decider of what gets adoption and awareness in crypto. However, unlike a centralized exchange or a centralized cap ranking site where one person or a small group make the decision on who is in and who is out, we are a decentralized collective that must reach a majority of support for something to blow up like it did yesterday. That is so beautiful and so in line with what crypto stands for that it is making me emotional. It's like, and I think you're feeling it as well, man. It's that like, fuck, we had to fight so hard for this, but we stayed together, and it's because it's one of these things where we've had truth and ethics on our side the whole time. So it's like, when you are in that position, you will get a win. If you stay true to your ethics and you fucking stay honest as best as you can, like because obviously we can be wrong. We can be wrong, but that doesn't stop us from always being honest, right? Like, as in and when you want to propagate truth and honesty as much as possible, you will eventually win, right? Not like you can't lose. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And we're seeing that shit now. What are some other examples? Like, we've had situations where the community has just been so strong that protocols have just had to adopt. Like, it's like, they've just no-brained the shit. Like, they've just been like, okay, clearly we need to include PulseChain in this.
Yeah.
There have been examples.
Nowadays,
I can't think of any off the...
More recently, yeah. Like, in the last few months, yeah, absolutely. Because PulseChain was just it appeals to a broader set of people. So yeah, absolutely.
To highlight how fast this thing blew up, right? Almost straight after posting it, it had like over 50 likes. So I go back to Telegram and I'm like, hey man, this thing's blowing up. It's already got 50 likes. And then I go back and look, and by the time that I typed that, it was already like over 60 and on the increase. So I was like, do I change this to 100? And then I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to tell him it's going viral. And so I'm like, bro, this tweet is blowing up, and it's already over 500 likes, which is really high for me. I don't normally get that kind of engagement on a tweet. It's like, that's kind of like, who are the hexagons that get those sorts of likes is like KDP, HVid, maybe Westcott, like in terms of having over 500K likes on a single tweet. It's fucking bonkers.
Hey, while we've got Kinetics in the chat, maybe we should ask him if we can have the movie in Australia.
I'm pretty sure Steakhouse has already talked to the team, like people who are involved in highest the stakes and that sort of thing. And
Steakhouse like, wants to come on.
It's a tentative yes. It's like bring him on. I'm probably butchering this, but yeah. 43. Can you send him the?
I'll send it to him now.
So by the way, it's a yes, like as in they're just as keen as we are to have it in Australia. It's just obviously we just have to make sure that if there's any like legal shit, there's like, making sure the video doesn't leak and it's, you guys get it. So obviously there are practical things involved in this that doesn't just make it like an immediate, let's just go.
Kinetics is running away at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
but the point is that practicalities aside,
I'll send Kinetics the link.
Practicalities aside, that they're a hard yes on us running that shit in Australia, bro. Like, so did Steakhouse say how to contact? I'll just try and tweet.
Kinetics, do you need a link? Or can you just come in through Restream?
I'm going to send it to him now.
I'll send a link to Kinetics as well.
Steakhouse, I am DMing you on Twitter.
I sent it to him as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. So yeah, I'm really excited about this movie launch now that RG3 has like alleviated my concerns about the price or the price at movie launch. Oh, by the way, we don't know for sure that the price is still going to be fucked at the movie launch. It could pump. Like, we don't know. Like, as in, I was more on like if it's low at the launch. When I hear Warris talk about what we've built, when I hear Warris and Buck talk about how everyone has just been building so hard, and that's the real metric that people should be looking at, not the price chart. It makes me so fucking bullish, man. It just makes me so fucking bullish because people have just been building and being inspired and innovating and thinking of cool shit and running ideas. And look, maybe 90% of the ideas that people come up with, like I've noticed people are notorious in Twitter spaces. It was actually Shippy and Cookies that called out that like often people have these sick ideas in Twitter spaces and then they just don't go anywhere because sometimes it's easier to, it's not easy to think of cool ideas, but like it's easier than making them happen, right? Like, especially if you're smart and you're knowledgeable and you can think of cool shit that would potentially go viral or cool collabs or things. And then the practicalities of making those things happen can be a lot harder. So, but yo, Kinetics, what's up?
Hey guys.
Hey, mate. How's it going?
How are you?
It's good to see you, beautiful Mexicans. I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. It's about 6:30 in the morning here, and I'm just headed to the gym to start my day.
The early bird.
Nice.
Yo.
Hey, Ty.
Yeah, I slept in about 30 minutes.
Yo.
I should already be there. What's up, bro?
Let's go.
How you doing, Kinetics?
I'm doing good, man. Life is good. Life is good. Just finally glad that the highest of stakes is here.
So jelly that we can't. So jelly that we don't have it here yet either. Hopefully we can get that out now.
Well, you and I have talked about this. Yeah, you and I have talked about this. We're working on it. So here's the deal, guys. As the director said, I don't know if any of you guys caught Crypto Coffee's interview with the director yesterday. But with that conversation was more than I've even let out. And I was surprised. And it's very bullish for us. We've got a lot of opportunity here. I'm trying to think exactly how I can put this out. What I can say and what I can't say. Let's just say we might have some really newsworthy information, and it may regard what you guys were discussing just a moment ago. But the more likely to get an international theatrical release is only really possible if we can really sell out at least the initial tickets that have been set up for the doors here in America. So the theaters in America. So that's why we couldn't just come out and say it. But we were like, you guys, you got to understand, we got to sell these out. Like, we got to sell out the 4th and the 5th in all of the markets that we're already in. And then that's part of the reason we were even apprehensive to add additional cities. Like, yeah, we wanted the numbers and the butts in the seats to show like, hey, we can sell this many tickets, but it's almost more important that now all the 40 markets that we're in, that we sell out at least those 2 days, even if we don't sell out through the whole week. Because there's there's a lot of things that go into a theatrical release. Part of it's the Regal Cinemas is amazing. Let's just say a documentary, especially about crypto, when there's not ever really been any decent documentaries about crypto before. Regal Cinema's never just been like, yeah, let's open our doors to a documentary and we'll take all the risk. And they're taking all the risk on this, guys. They didn't make us rent out the theaters. They're like, okay, if you guys think you can activate a crowd, and we love the movie because they got to view it before we released it with them. They believed in what we're doing, and they said, yeah, we'll give you these 28 markets, and now it's 40 that we've got officially that we've released in 40 different cities, and we sold out, some of them within 24 hours of opening up, and that's why they were allowing us to do that. But you got to think about it this way too: if they've allowed us to expand the footprint, the cities that they're opening this in, they are owned by a larger conglomerate that is international, that does have theaters in other countries. But and I'm not saying that we're at that point yet. Maybe something will come, because we've had a lot of sales, especially the last couple days, especially. So this last week has gone really, really well for us. And so hopefully we'll have some news on that front. But the support at home is really where it's most important at this point in time, because that is what is going to be the key to opening up in other markets. So I know I just talked all the way around it.
Can I just add something really critical, though? This is really important. Is
okay.
Because there are a lot of very wealthy hexicans that can easily go and just buy all the tickets, but that is a bad idea. Because, it's great if you're going to buy them and then actually get people to use them and go.
Yes.
But the problem is that, one, people don't value shit that well if you give it to them for free. So there's a chance someone will be like, oh, I'll have a free ticket, and then not rock up. Yeah. And if they see that that's happened, then they'll be like, that was fake as fuck. Some rich person just came and bought all the tickets to make us think that it was popular, and it actually wasn't popular. So it's just as important that people are actually there in the seats as it is that they. Yes. So this is not just a financial assessment that they're making. This is actually an attendance assessment. So please be careful, because there are lots of hexicans that I've seen that have said shit like that. They're just like, I'll just go and fucking buy all the tickets, and just make it a sellout. Like, who gives a shit?
This is way, we were talking about this earlier on. This is way easier to get someone that to go see a movie. It's like, hey, let's go see this movie. It's way easier than selling them, a bag of Hex or selling them Pulse. It's way easier to get them to see a movie.
And teaching them how to use MetaMask and how to get onboarded. Yeah.
You don't have to think twice. You don't have to think twice about telling everyone in your phone to go see this movie. You can send a message to everyone and say, hey, go check out this movie, and not feel badly about it. It's not going to wreck your reputation. Trust me. I mean, it might wreck your reputation if you send someone, shilly type messages about crypto, though.
Kinetics. So we've got a Regal theater in my city, and I want to try and work out whether it's owned by the same thing or whether the name just happens to be the same. What how can I find the Regal on the net that you guys are talking about, and maybe the name of this parent company or whatever, so I can work out whether it's actually owned?
Call them.
Oh, the person that answers the phone is not going to know shit about parent companies.
If they're getting paid minimum wage, they're not going to know.
Hey, are you guys owned? Are you guys
Ring
owned?
the head office. Ring the head office.
What the fuck? Like,
So do you know if they have the same? Do you know if they have the same logo?
So
if you
their
go
logo
to buy
is
the
like
tickets on
it's like this golden red picture of an old cinema.
Off the top of my head, I wouldn't know, but more than likely,
I think maybe if we come at this from the other direction and try and work out, if you give me the parent company name, then they might have this cinema listed. Sorry?
Cinemark.
Cinemark, thank you.
Yep, Cinemark.
I'll find out.
We got Victoria and Adelaide, Regal, but Victoria, Adelaide, and I think in New South Wales, Regal.
Okay. That's good to know. That's good. I know, we'd love to have an international release in Europe, but I think where it would pop off the most is Australia and the UK. I really do. I think because we're so centralized in those, a lot of OGs came from those two countries right there. So, Tangent just liquidityed himself. He just rugged himself. But I know that there's a lot of those guys. You guys in Australia and the UK would love to be able to see this thing. So yeah, go ahead.
I'm hanging.
Do you know off the top of your head which cities in the States are a little lacking? Like, give them a shill so people who watch this back might go and get tickets in those cities if they're in the area.
Yeah, I was supposed to get that updated list yesterday, but there's some blockbusters that are coming out right now, and Regal is really backed up trying to get those ready to go for their releases. Mission Impossible, Barbie. So there's some things that they're trying to work through. So they weren't super responsive yesterday. I'm hoping today I can get that out.
We can do maybe we can do near enough is good enough. Is there a list of cities that we can see somewhere and people can try at least?
Well, I can tell you,
and get them. They might be sold out.
My Twitter
sold out.
Yeah, my Twitter about 4 days ago, I believe it was. I had it's a long thread because I'm not verified. I'm contrarian in that regard. I don't want to be verified. I want to be the one guy in the community that's not verified. So I got to do multiple posts to post it. But I've got on my Twitter feed there, it's got like, we're only at 25 capacity in these cities. And now we've sold a few more since then, but we're at 50% capacity on these, and these ones are sold out. And so it's not the comprehensive list with the updated markets that we've added, but it's definitely worth looking at to see, hey, maybe I know Denver, Colorado, which is really funny. Like, I'm obviously not a draw because no one's coming to the Denver, Colorado ones, even though I'm going to be there. So it wasn't a bonus to anyone knowing that they'd be able to meet me. So we're still not sold out in that city yet. And I thought we had a lot of Denver Hexicans. So maybe it's my fault that they're like, no, not if that guy's going to be there. I'm not going to be there.
I can tell you, we're hosting the Dublin, California one, MCR. And 2 days ago, I think we had under 10 tickets left for the Friday, and we're about 45% left for the Saturday.
Okay. All right, guys. Activate, guys. We want to make this thing international, and the more tickets we can sell ahead of time, the more likely that is to happen. So, because there's still time, guys. We've got, what is it? Today's the 18th. Your night of the 18th, our morning of the 18th over here in America. And we've got 2.5 weeks before this thing shows. They'll open up more cities and potentially international if we can sell enough tickets here in America. So we got to get these sold out. We really do, to activate them. And while there's still time to do so, the longer it takes, the less likely it's going to be.
Yep.
Keep pushing.
Regal Theaters.
Motherfucker.
Go look it up. Go look up the website and check whether you can get a ticket to see the highest of stakes. Regal Theaters.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if anyone wants to buy a block of tickets, no problem. We still like that idea, but you got to give them out. You got to give them people that can get in the seats. And it was Cabana I saw a couple days ago on Twitter that made that point. Like, hey, buying huge blocks of tickets is great, but even more important is butts in the seat. And it's true. You don't want an empty theater that was sold out. That doesn't look good either.
No.
Yeah.
And what's the point? I mean, we want that network effect, right? We want you to bring friends and family that know nothing about crypto. I mean, if you want to pay for them, that's cool, but make sure no coiners are in the seats. That's really where I think the virality will come from, because Hexicans, we yell in our own echo chamber, but there's reach outside of our echo chamber if you can get outside of it.
Yeah, you want that person who comes and sees the movie to go and tell 5 other people to go see the movie.
Exactly.
And over and over again until it's everyone.
Yeah.
That's what we want. We want it to spread.
So what about the red carpet event? Tell us about the red carpet event, Kinetic.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be really cool to get, everyone from the film crew, and we've got some big internet personalities that are tentatively scheduled to go and watch this thing, and so they can go talk about it on their channel after they're done. Go treat them like a star and give them access before everyone else can go see it, and or a day before everyone else can go see it. But what I'm not looking forward to is I fly out of Miami at like 2:00 in the morning the next day, so I can be at the Denver premiere. So that's the only thing I'm not looking forward to.
You're killing it.
Me and my wife are traveling with my 2.5-year-old daughter, and so that's going to be a fun one to try to fly at 2:00 in the morning with the baby. Hopefully she goes back to sleep on the plane, because I know I'm going to want to sleep. I may not even get to go to sleep before we leave.
Good luck with that.
But it'll be cool. It'll be cool just to say you were part of an official premiere, but it's not anything that special. I'm actually probably more interested in meeting all the Hexicans that are going to be at the theater on the next day.
Yeah, cool.
People that I've seen in the chats and never been able to actually meet face to face. So.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like fun. Wish we were there.
Yeah, I wish you guys were too. I wish we had enough. And it's in a really small, bougie theater, really small. So there's not even a lot of seats. Otherwise, there's a lot of people we really would have loved to invite, especially within the community, to come see it on the premiere night. But I don't know. It'll be cool, but it's not. I mean, it's not like what you see on TMZ and E for Entertainment or whatever. None of those shows. So it's not like a giant Hollywood premiere, but it'll be just cool to meet up with some of the people that were involved in the production.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so excited about this movie.
I'm gonna have to go and see that.
You should be.
Interview, because I've only seen the one where it was it Corey? Someone did an interview with them.
Rags or Heartbeat?
There's been a few.
Oh, Heartbeat. I saw the Heartbeat one. Also, Rags. I need to watch all of them. I've only seen.
Dude, Rags's interview to me. I mean, all 3 of them have killed it so far. But Rags really was exciting and engaging. He started off with playing a game with them, and it just had a fun and entertaining spirit to it. And I think everyone should go check out the interview with Rags to Riches.
Sick.
Oh, yeah. The directors are really animated, and they know how to have fun, and they know how to tell a good story. So I always look forward to them speaking to people within our community. We're trying to line up. Their time is so limited right now, though. So we're trying to line up some interviews outside of the Hexican community, and I think we've got a few that might be coming. I don't want to get anyone too excited in case we, something falls short, and don't want to set any expectations we can't meet. But people who have a much larger view and a viewer base than what we have here in the community.
Under promise and over deliver, brother.
Yeah, well, we'll hope. We're aiming for it. We can't make any promises, but we are aiming for it. We got some good leads.
Cool.
Awesome. Nice.
You guys have done a stellar job. Everyone involved. It's awesome.
Thanks, man.
15 minutes of shorts and that we've seen, it's the quality.
And that's not even any of the good stuff. Like all the meat and potatoes are in the movie itself. Like,
really?
To me,
that's the opposite of normally movie trailers. Normally they put their best shit in the trailer.
Yep. No, these guys don't believe in that. They want you to be, they want it to be engaging enough to entice you to want to go see it, but you don't want to give away the movie and then be disappointed. Like, well, I could have just watched the trailer and knew what the whole thing was about.
Yeah. That's always annoyed me with Hollywood stuff, where you're like, every awesome scene, they just put it in the trailer. And so you literally go into the cinema to watch the trailer with filler.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucked.
No, these guys don't believe in that. It's so different.
Nice.
It's so different. And you know what? I haven't even got to see the final version of the movie. And the final version has the custom track, soundtrack to it.
And did they add PulseChain stuff into it as well? Did they?
Yes.
You'll have to wait and find out.
Yes, they did.
That was public knowledge. That was public knowledge. They tweeted out asking for people's reactions. Remember? That's the only reason I knew that. That wasn't inside info. Like,
no. It's definitely a question that they had. To activate the community to participate in that, because if we could have launched it 6 months ago, it would have never been in there. But things weren't just quite ready yet, and the timing worked out well. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation in the community. Oh, it was timed this way. No. If we could have got it out sooner, we would have. Yeah, no, it's where there was no coordinating around the launch of Pulse to make this happen. Like, we had a finished version of the movie, and then Pulse came out, and we're like, we can't miss this. So we got to include this in and give almost like a little teaser to what could be in the next movie.
Isn't that pretty typical of crypto in general, that people retrofit narratives to once they know what happens? They're like, oh, this is because of this, and this. You're like, no, it's not.
Yeah. It's like crypto is like QAnon meets finance. Like, everyone's like, oh, all the conspiracies are coming together, and you're like, no, they all worked independent of each other, and it just happened. The timing just happened.
Oh no, the QAnon of finance. No.
Yeah, that's what crypto is, man.
Worst tagline ever. No.
Yeah, but you don't have to be in a Telegram chat for 10 minutes to see a conspiracy theory of these guys did this for that reason, and you're like,
true.
No, I don't believe that's true, but
it's true, man.
It makes a great story.
You're bang on with that.
Speaking of theory, you're going to the gym, aren't you, Kinetics? You going to the gym?
Yeah, I'm sitting in the parking lot waving to all my friends as they leave.
We have a theory about why Richard Hart hasn't been streaming. We've got a theory.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. I have a theory. He's been hitting. He's been hitting the gym hard, and when we see him next, he's going to be jacked. It's the jacked RH theory.
So what you're telling me is I don't get to see Richard for another year, because it's going to take him that long to catch back up with the rest of us when it comes to fitness.
How long haven't we seen him for?
Bro, here's my counter.
6 months, yeah.
Bro, here's my counter. He said he's a stress eater.
Yeah.
Right? Now, all the shit that happened with the bridge, the delays of the PulseChain launch in itself, then the little bug in Pulse, etc. Do you think he's been eating or hitting the gym?
I think he's eating protein bars, bro, and lifting heavy weights.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he means when he says he's.
I think he's walking around the house with.
I think Tangent might be onto something. He may show up on the show, My 600-Pound Life, and has a crane lifting him off his bed, and I don't know, man.
And he's like,
"You guys Tangent might be right." Yeah, right. This is your guys' fault.
He's got unlimited money, so. It's not like that's gonna slow down his eating.
I'll tell you what though,
some lady washing his back with a wet towel.
Yeah, he gets sponge baths.
Sponge, yeah. See him dripping the sponge into the tub as she reapplies. So the idea that he's getting jacked and getting yoked, to me, would be really, really idealistic, and not just because I care for the guy and I want to see him improve his health and actually care about longevity. I mean, live like he cares about longevity. We know he cares about longevity, but I think it would give a lot of of attention and a lot more credence to self-help, because it's really difficult. Let's be honest, let's call it what it is, let's be objective. The guy's got a self-help book, and it's chock full of great information because he's a brilliant dude. But when you look at an overweight guy, you're like, well, you can't even take care of yourself. Like, how serious can I take your advice, no matter how good the information is? And so I think it would really bode well for someone who's got the self-discipline and the self-worth to improve their own health, and then say, okay, I did it, you can too.
It's the best self-promotion that he could possibly do, because everyone respects someone who's overweight, who's put in the effort to be in shape, be fit. Everyone respects it, no matter what. So he would get a lot of eyeballs by doing that, and also he kills two birds with one stone. Gets a lot of eyeballs on him, and improves his standing. It's like, oh, he's actually changed. He's changed physically. He's changed. And to get that physical transformation, maybe there's been some sort of mental transformation from, the outrage guy that was doing all that stuff before, right? So, but I think the other benefit is that he's looking after himself, and that's what we all want. We want him to be a healthy guy who's around for another 50 years.
Absolutely. Long live the king. Long live the king.
I want him to be around for 150 more years, but if you only want him around for 50, 43, maybe I just love him more than you do. I don't know.
Or more.
You better hang around Aubrey de Grey a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're right. And I would love to see that. So maybe someday he'll come out and show us the new revised Richard Hart. That'd be great. I'd like to see him regardless of what shape he's in right now, personally.
Yeah, did you hear Crypto Heartbeat put out a quite a nice like a nice sentiment comment about, he was like, Richard, if you're listening, we'd all love to see you, hear from you and stuff. I thought that was quite nice.
Not one that looks like he's been kidnapped, though.
Yeah, not one where it's like, blink twice if you need help, Richard. Yeah. Like tapping on his chest, blinking. PulseChain is out. Come play on the network.
So guys, we've been going for 2 hours and 8 minutes. What do you guys reckon? You want to keep it rolling?
Or show.
Yeah, I know. But
I'm gonna go work out because I decided to come hang out with you degenerates. Now I don't get to do my HIIT cardio, so now I got to just go straight into lifting. So, but it was.
We did you a favor there,
lift, bro.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
We did you a favor. Really good to see you, Kinetics.
It's good to see you guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, before you go, mate,
help us promote America in the theaters, guys. Help us promote the theatrical release here, and it's more likely to go other places if that's the case. So the more successful we are. So
absolutely.
Any stuff you want us to share on YouTube and whatever, just flick it to us. We'll keep pushing it.
Okay.
I got the welcome pack for hosting, so I went and downloaded their Dropbox with some of the shorts and all the graphics. So we've got some stuff to come out.
Well, yeah, go ahead and throw that all up on Twitter and let's start promoting. It's awesome. That's the same packet that Maddie leaked.
Well,
so all that information was in the release
Maddie
packet.
must have had a few more, because I think there was only 6 or 8 videos in the Dropbox, but I think he had a few more. So maybe he got.
Well, that was all part of the hosting premiere packet, so it wasn't really leaked. I get why he did it. I mean, it was a clickbait eyeballs. Let's get this out there, and so it was effective. A lot of people saw it, so that worked out well. But it wasn't actually. I just want to make clear the record. It wasn't actually leaked. It was he signed an NDA as the co-host premiere of the location, and since he's doing his own conference. We didn't want there to be and he's giving away tickets. We didn't want there to be a perception that the team was repackaging and reselling the tickets. So he stepped away voluntarily to of being the host, but still helping promote in Austin. So we have someone from the film crew that's actually going to be there to be the premiere in Austin. But he got a lot of hype around it, got a lot of eyeballs. So that's great. That's great.
Awesome.
So if you guys want to keep doing that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'll do it. We've got them, but we're looking at the way the YouTube algorithm works. If you actually release those like 1 or 2 a day separately, you actually get more views.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's why they aren't one 15-minute video. That's why they're a bunch of 2-minute clips for that purpose, actually, because it does hit the algorithms a lot harder that way, especially if you can, for those of you who are going to do something with YouTube on it, I highly recommend you guys use ChatGPT for your descriptions of your videos when you guys are putting those in there to hit the algorithm. There's a way you can even ask ChatGPT to optimize it for YouTube, and it'll actually do it for you. The other thing is with the title. Remember, guys, YouTube is a search algorithm. It is an aggregator of searches. So put it in there very concisely what it is that you want it to come up under if someone's searching something in the YouTube algorithm. Don't get all fancy with your titles and try to get clever with stuff. 99.9% of the time, if it's exactly what someone searches for, it's going to pop. Like, start typing in what you want and see what auto populates, and then have that in your title. I just gave you guys a bunch of YouTube alpha that I'm actually not spending the time doing with our own channel right now, but those things are easy. I actually learned that from Graham Stephan. I actually paid for a long time ago. I paid for his YouTube creator package educational series, and he's got some nuggets in there that it's just so simple. You're like, man, why didn't I think of this stuff sooner? But just it's all about what people are going to be typing in that search bar. That's what it is. It's a search engine. That's what YouTube is a search engine. It's just a little different than Google. It looks for videos instead of images and websites.
You didn't think of it earlier because you're busy producing a movie. That's why, bro.
That's right. That's right. I'll take that. I'll take that. It's been a lot more work behind the scenes than I thought it would be, honestly. So, and it's been so rewarding, so exciting to finally get to the point where we get to see a finished product. And I just can't wait to share it with the world. There's more. One thing we discussed yesterday on Coffee's channel is that, someone was like, what is this theater? Just a money grab? Well, actually, it's the least profitable way to release a movie. Yeah, it's the least profitable way to release a movie. We care about eyeballs, not the money. If this thing falls on its face monetarily and it never makes a dime, I personally don't care. As part of the production crew, I personally don't care as long as 100 million people see it. That was always the goal and the intent from the beginning. We had this sit down talk before we even signed on to become part of this movie, that the intent is to get as many eyeballs as possible. It's not about the money. Doing a theatrical release is really not profitable. There's other ways we could have gone to actually maximize the profits if we cared about that. But that PR hype behind it is what really is important to get us these bigger distribution deals going down the road.
Well, let's get the state sold out so we can move on to the international side of things. We're ready. I know Tangent's ready. Buck's ready in Sydney. We've got posts ready in every city. So
I know, I want to activate you guys, and hopefully we'll have some good news around that. But I want to activate you guys because I know you guys are as hyped to see it as we are.
I just realized something else.
Oh yeah, baby.
There's been a lot of meetups that probably would have occurred where the meetup was waiting kind of for price, just so that the vibe at the meetup is like awesome. This will kind of like force those meetups to happen sooner and have like a real positive thing that it's around, rather than it being about price, it'll be about the movie. And so I think a lot of these cities will get meetups. I know, Sammy, you're already doing meetups over East anyway, coming up.
In Sydney in October. DM me if you want to come.
But I think this is going to mean that there's going to be multi-city, and also it kind of coordinates the timing roughly as well, right? Because it's like, it ends up being, so I think it's a really positive thing. I really like it.
Yeah, I think it's great. It'd be nice for us to get together and have fellowship with others that are like-minded, around something other than just price. 100% agree with that. So This community is awesome. At least 80% of you guys are. The other 20 of you guys can disappear, and I'd be okay with that. But it's the 80-20 Pareto rule is a real thing, man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
80%.
Yeah.
80%. Get the fuck in the car.
Jesus.
20%.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
But most of you guys are just absolutely amazing, and I'm excited for the next, 15 years, and we can continue saying that because there's always the option to restake. But I'm excited for the next 15 years to be in the lifeboat with you, the rest of you guys. So
yeah, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm out. I gotta go get this done.
See you, man. I think we're ending anyway. Really good to see you, man.
All right, we'll see you guys.
See you, Kinetics.
Enjoy the gym.
Will do.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Before the rest of you bail, was there anything you wanted to say, Ty?
I just was hanging shit on Sammy in text when I was here, and she's like, I live down under, and I'm not on DeFi down under. I was just when you started talking about the center, I'm like, Kinetics, tangent. Shh, it's not meant to be public knowledge yet. But it's
about what?
Kinetics
shit.
Sure. Kinetics is cool about it. He didn't say keep it quiet, just don't overpromise. So it was all good. But yeah.
So Ty, you DeFi Down Under is like a new channel that we've just sort of
I've been watching
started.
it, bro.
You
guys don't read your comments off, and I watch most of the shows.
Yeah, you're right. We don't. But
it's all good, bro.
No, but if you want to come on and like explain, like or talk about some of your stuff.
I'm happy just to hang out and talk about whatever the ecosystem. It doesn't have to be our stuff all the time.
Yeah, but that's what that channel's for. It's for more like, the Hex Late Show is about Hex and Hex related stuff, where with DeFi Down Under, we sort of spread our wings a little bit, and we'll talk about other things like related to DeFi. If it's DeFi stuff, then it's fair game on DeFi Down Under. So yeah.
Cool. Well, we have just gone on to testnet about 4 hours ago privately. So on V4, but we're not sharing the link at the moment because we're just testing it ourselves. But we've got Barista up and running, which is a unique front end for liquid loans. So we're
cool.
actually testing.
Well, maybe we can organize a time. We can organize a time for you to
for sure
explain it all to us, because if it's DeFi, then we're definitely interested in finding out more.
Well, and if people are familiar with liquid loans, it's pretty easy to understand. We have a complete front end that works exactly like liquid loans, but then we have some additional features so people don't have to sit in front of a computer all the time.
If it's DeFi, then we are down under.
I see what you did there.
So the other thing I was going to add about the movie shit was that, apologies about that. I didn't realize.
No, it was fine.
I hope I didn't say anything that was like promising that it was definitely going to happen. I believe I said that that there could be practical limitations, but assuming that there was sexy.
You're good. You're all good.
And so super stoked about how everything's going. I mean, I've been so excited lately about everything that's going on. I've barely actually been looking at charts, which is shocking to me.
Yeah.
It's good to have those distractions.
I haven't been looking at charts that much either.
For my outro, I want to mention this idea that I came up with today, that in the bear market, so we all know that yield is like a major fucking draw for in crypto. People love the idea of getting more yield than legacy, right? Now, Hex leveraged off that idea in its entire use case is yield generation, right? Now, unfortunately, in a bear market, if people perceive that the yield that they are going to make is actually going to get more, like you're going to actually lose more in capital depreciation than what you get in the yield, it fucks the use case in people's mental models, right? So, but what we're seeing now is we've bottomed out enough that people that are earning yield in various ways, it could be staking HEX, it could be on PulseChain, there are various yield plays and shit like that. People are starting to see, hey, there are people over here that are making yield and they're not losing more in capital depreciation than what they're making in yield, right? That starts to be tempting and bring people in. But as they come in, they have to buy the assets involved. And that makes the prices go up, which also makes the yields go up. And so it's a highly reflexive system. But but we're in that period where now it's kind of safe to play, right? Like that you can start to chase yield without getting totally fucking wrecked. But as we start to see that shit ratchet up and like start to cycle up in the other direction, shit is going to get fucking crazy because people are going to be like, holy fuck, these motherfuckers are making so much money over here. They're making yield and capital growth on their assets. And then that becomes a crazy ass advertisement. We're advertising with green candles. We're advertising with high yields that don't just disappear quickly. And that shit's going to be fucking lit. So that was something I came up with today that I think it's a good time to be learning about DeFi, experimenting in the space, experiencing some of these yield opportunities, including HEX, etc.
Sammy.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me again, guys, and good to see everyone in the chat and you guys. And don't forget October Sydney meetup. If you want any info, please DM me or tag me, and I'll answer your questions. Happy Hexicans, happy Pulsicans. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Ghost Sammy.
Ty, have you got anything you want to say before we?
I know DHEX asked when MCR. It's some of our products are still in development. They're not too far away. Barista's already on testnet, so when we can share more, we will. 2 more weeks. Thanks for having me. Digging the new show where you can talk about many other things. As much as we love the core blue chips, it's always nice in a system where the ecosystem has to have vibrant, good products, tools, and utilities that people can use. So, what you guys are doing here is awesome.
Thanks, mate.
Did you come up with Barista? Like, as in not you / the team? I like you know how a lot of crypto protocols, their naming convention sucks. Their naming convention sucks ass. Barista is sick.
Obviously, we had Stakehouse, right? Which was a play on staking, but we wanted to keep it a bit more generic in case we introduce other staking mechanisms for other things later that might make sense, right? And then
so you're going for steak,
to keep the whole
coffee.
restaurant bistro. So we've got Bistro, which is our OTC marketplace, and we've got Barista. And also to play on what you said about the wording convention with crypto, we've also shied away from that generic corporate bland look of the Dapp. Our Dapps are very loud. The Barista one, every page has got different backdrop that's to do with like coffee shops, coffee beans, coffee bags. Like it's pretty cool. It really pops and it's different.
You know, sorry to cut you off, 43, but Cookies came up with this theory: animals, shapes, food. Right? So I thought he was fucking around. I thought he was being a clown when he said that those were his investment theses for crypto. But the thing is, it's all very relatable to humans. So HEX it's a shape. Humans understand shapes. We find out about them when we're like very, very young, right? Food, absolutely critical. It's our survival. And animals, again, you know, in school, they're like, this is a frog, this is a dinosaur, whatever the fuck, right? Like, so, and you notice that food theme that I was always weirded out about: Sushi Swap, Pancake Swap, all of these DeFi protocols that have got, all of the DeFi protocols with all of the foods. It was crazy. Like, there were other ones where it was like burger this and fries this. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I just thought that someone had seen someone else do it and they were like, let's just stick with this theme, right? So Phantom have got all, like, I think all their shit is ghost themed. So they've got like Casper and Phantom, and so they've gone with that theme and a lot of people in their community, their DeFi apps and shit, it's all ghost themed. Fail. That's a fail. Like
that's a fail.
That's scary shit for most people. Like I'm fearless. I'm not scared of anything. But for most people, they're like, I don't like ghosts. Like that.
Well, who doesn't like food? So we decided to go with.
Sammy clearly likes ghosts. She's cosplaying as one today. Sammy's LARPing as a ghost on this stream.
I know. I thought you were thinking of me.
So yeah, so you guys have nailed the, whether it was by accident or not, you've nailed into Cookie's investment thesis, sticking with this food themed thing. Hex nailed it on the shape. Obviously, the logos behind you show that we've stayed very shape oriented. Sorry, 43. I know you want to end it. Let's go. Let's end this bitch. This.
I was laughing.
Clap.
I thought
clap.
No.
Oh, I thought you were.
No. I was laughing because I thought you said investment theses.
Oh, theses, like thesis, like thesis, like theory.
Well, tangent.
Laughing at that, and it's
just, shitcoin. Wait, it could be an investment feces because they are shitcoins. So,
yeah.
Our political statement for our sacrifice was the right to eat what you want. And it had the pictures of the bugs, you know.
Dude, that is actually awesome because that is a freedom that can potentially also be taken away from us. So that's actually a really good point. I like it.
Oh shit, that made me laugh. I mean, I wasn't trying to cut you off, mate. Keep going if you.
No. That's all I had to say. I just wanted to throw that in there.
All right. Well, yeah, that's the Hex Late Show. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you, and don't forget what Hex is. Like we know what Bitcoin is. You know, we know that you could buy Bitcoin, you can spend Bitcoin, you can buy Ethereum, you can stake Ethereum. With Hex, you buy it, you stake it, you exchange your time for more Hex. You exchange your time for more Hex.
Oh, PulseChain.
Take it to your Mecca. And PulseChain. Go check out PulseChain. You might have free coins from Ethereum on PulseChain that you don't know about.
43. I wouldn't say you exchange your time for Hex because that does make it sound like a job, right? Like, as it sounds like, because it does it while it doesn't take your time.
Oh yeah, you can.
There is a time component, but it's not your time. Like you're not actually.
You don't have to work. No. Yeah. That's. I'm glad that you pointed that out. Yeah, absolutely. You can be in a hammock reading a book. You don't have to like go and like scrub dishes. Very important point. Very important point.
Delaying your gratification.
That's it. All right. Well, cheers. Let's end it there. Thanks, guys.
Peace.
We'll see you next week. And just before I forget.
Woo!
Before I forget, there we go.
You're so naughty.
Very cool.